My lords, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome back to Transport Fever 2 and the Deluxe DLC series in the American Southwest on a custom map. You may notice this time out, the introduction is actually paused. The game is paused as we go through the motions here. There is a very good reason for that, which will become evident very soon once we start playing properly. The town you see before you is the town of West Jordan. Now, the last episode notwithstanding, when we upgraded our train fleet, West Jordan has been something of the centre of our efforts as of late. We've started supplying it with some of the cargo that it requires, and if you remember, an episode or two ago, we even set up our first cargo airport, so we have air freight now on the map and doing a pretty good job for us. So because West Jordan has started to grow on the back of that cargo demand satisfaction that we're partway towards achieving, it only makes sense that we also hook them up with some passenger services as well. So that's the aim of today's episode, and that's also why the game is paused. You see, before I hit the record button, I did some groundwork in West Jordan to pave the way for the passenger station. It involved doing a bit of terraforming, removing some street roads, some buildings to clear us a nice space, and I think we're in a position now where we're able to build that station. We have enough real estate to work with, and we're putting it not quite in the centre of town, but it's going to be, hopefully, as the town expands, it's going to be encompassed by the town. So let's bring up the user interface. We're going to keep the game paused temporarily while we get the groundwork set up, because the last thing we want is the AI, not the UI. We don't want the AI to start building in all this area that I've prepared for us. So the first thing we'll do is we will build our station. And we have a nice little area right here. As I said, it's not quite in the centre of town, but it's certainly not a million miles away either. And we have lots of free space around for the town to expand and grow towards our passenger station here at West Jordan. I should quickly remove the exchange from the station name and we'll keep it at just West Jordan. Okay, so before we unpause it, what we will do is we'll run out our tracks from the station, probably in either direction, although as we can see as we head to the south, we come immediately into a large rock formation, but we definitely want to focus on heading out north. So what we'll do is we'll run the tracks out, put the diamonds and the likes in position that we need to enable full utilization of all the platforms. We'll keep these rail lines at their current gradient so it matches the height of the station platform. And we'll run them all out one at a time individually. Perhaps bringing these ones over somewhat to join parallel with the first two that we've pushed outwards, like this, and then having them run as a quad track eventually. I've shown you the fourth one, it will be quad track, sort of like this. There we go. And what we'll also do is we'll start working on a way to open up every single platform. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a series of diamonds here, and these are going to have to be fairly short due to the limited space we have to work with. So the speeds on these diamonds are going to be pretty slow, but that's not too much of a problem, or hopefully it won't be too much of a problem. So if we can get all of these in successfully, maybe if we try that one from the opposite direction, it's doing that weird thing it likes to do from time to time when trying to build a diamond. Still never figured out what causes this. And nope, it's not going to let us do it there, is it? Okay, so let's remove that. What about on the off chance if we do this side first of all? I know the diamond on this side is a little bit larger, a little bit longer than the diamond up above, but shouldn't be a problem. Too much slope. Okay, so it's just gonna play awkward, is it? Well, never mind. We'll just push it further away from that level crossing and hopefully it'll allow us to build it here. Nope. Now it's saying it's a collision, too much slope. Okay. Well, in that case then let's rethink that. If it's gonna be silly, for no apparent reason, I don't know why it does that on the DLC. I never noticed it doing that previously. Maybe something got changed. Whatever it is, they could do with changing it back, because it's a little bit frustrating to say the least, especially when it's come up with some spurious faults such as too much slope, when clearly it was on a flat gradient, but never mind. Anyway, let's just run it differently then. Let's have these two come. It's still saying too much slope, of course it is. Yeah, let's have those come in like that, and then we'll just have our standard diamond setup just here. I was going to go for a 4-way diamond. Yep, there we go, which allowed us to do it this time, although it did think about it. As we can see, however, the problem we've had is this road is up and down and all sorts of wonky, so we need to fix that. So what we'll do is, using the leveling tool, get everything at the same height as the tracks in this area like that. Is that the same height? Not quite. Let's try. I don't think it's gonna allow us to do it. Let's try that, and then let's see what happens if we build. Now it's still. Now, yeah, that's just ridiculous. We don't want that to happen. So, could we come a little closer to the station? Will that give us a smoother level crossing? Yeah, it does. It's still a little bit wobbly, but it's not nearly as bad as it was. So we'll do that instead. That will work. Okay, so now we've got that in, we need to figure out how we're going to do this. In fact, do we have anything down here we'd want to connect to passenger-wise? Not really. So we could have left this as a terminus station in retrospect, but never mind, we've done it as a regular now. I think what we'll do instead is we'll have these come off this way. Now obviously we are having to curve here because of that large rock formation we have just to the south of the station. And let's see, what can we do here? Well, we'll leave that as that for now. Yeah, we'll just have that curving off to nowhere. So now we can start the game once again. Let's have it at 2 times acceleration, because now the map feels like it's drawing to something of a close, and I would like to get as near to modern day as we possibly can. A couple of train unlocks here, as we can see, some EMDs. Right, so the first port of call is going to be the station of Carrollton. So we have a passenger line here, as you can see a couple of trains driving along it right now. And I think what my plan is, I had briefly planned this out in my head, is to somewhere at this corner here, first of all just bring the ground up to a rough height with the tracks, and in fact we can do it the exact height using the leveling tool, and then just blending those edges in like that. But somewhere on this corner is have a junction that heads up this way between this little valley here, before swinging down between these 2 farms over the freight line and then into West Jordan passenger station. So let's crack on with that and see how it will look. So if we do this, what is the overlap like? It looks pretty nice to me. Let's see if we can straighten that out, get some more speed on this. 130 will do. Yeah, 130. So we'll do that. And then we're going to obviously double track the entire length here. So we'll do that straight off the bat through to there. And we want to be heading through this valley type formation we have here. Bit of a tunnel there. We could probably use a cutting to keep it all open for cab rides. We'll have to do some terraforming along the edge of the track, but that's not too much of a problem. We have plenty of money to burn through, almost 25 billion. So if we do that, we'll come back and do the terraforming at the end, of course. And we can see where we're heading. We see West Shore, and we can see the icon for the passenger station, so that makes this bit a lot easier. Now this one will have to be a tunnel just because of the height differential between the track and the ground height. So we'll have it tunnel through that little cliffside there. Bring the twin track out along with it. And probably coming in a bit tight here. Yeah, we're going to have some pretty severe slowdown. If we can keep it at about 100, I think I'll be happy. Let's go for 101. That should guarantee the inner radius is 100, and indeed it is. Right, so here then, we'll have to have another tunnel through this, which is quite useful because it means we're tunnelling under that road there, just about. Let's pull it that way a bit. There we go. Now it just brings the mouth of the tunnel away from the road edge just a little bit. So the track is having to curve in and out ever so slightly there, as you can see, a little shimmy in the track, but that's okay. Now we want to keep on curving, and it's going to have to be quite tight again. Let's say about 130 and 130 on the inner track, give or take a couple of miles per hour. Yeah, we're coming in far too tight here, so we're going to have a very, very tight approach to the station, which is unfortunate. Right, let's see. You're not liking that. How's about that? How does it look? Doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad at all. We'll take that. So we're just going to plough straight over the freight line. It's not a very busy freight line. Nothing's come down here while we've been in the area, so it just goes to show how quiet this stretch of track is, so we don't have to worry about too much disruption. And if we do that, yeah, as you can see, we're getting some serious slowdown there. I think we'll go with it just to get the ball rolling, but at some point in the future it might be worth revisiting this corner. Maybe, in fact, let's do it now. Let's just remove all of that as far back as that second tunnel we just constructed. Let's just be careful here as we delete this bit. We don't want to delete the freight line. There we go, perfect. Delete that little bit there. So we'll, yeah, like I said, go all the way back to that tunnel, the entrance of the tunnel, not the exit. And instead of curving through between the two farms, we'll continue running along the back along here, and that'll give us a better angle on approaching to the station. Shouldn't make much difference really overall. Just having to revise our plans ever so slightly, but I think it's going to be worthwhile. So what we want to do then, instead of curving off to the right as we were initially, we want to come up to the left a little, like this. We'll try and avoid removing the farmers' fields if we can, which we can. Oh no, we're just going to have to remove one of them. That's not too bad, it could have been worse. The Graf Zeppelin, so we might want to put that on our passenger service, and it looks like we're getting some more EMDs as well. And we've reached maximum headquarters level in the game and achieved an unlock for that, which is nice. A couple of superliner coaches as well. It might be worth looking at those seeing whether they're an upgrade on our existing coaches. Just noticed it's given us a bridge there. And there we go, there's our HQ. We'll have to go and look at that at some point as well. Yeah, let's remove that bridge and instead just have raised earthworks there. That's better. That way there's no reduction in speed along here. Right, so now, oh, there we go, a freight train on that line that we said wasn't very busy. We can see something does come down here, but not a lot, not very often. Right, do we want to go for a bridge at this point? 120, let's go for that bridge. Yeah, it's quite a nice looking bridge. Quite modern and sleek. So let's bring this around here. Now, how are we going to handle this? How's that? Oh, it seems to drop quite a bit. Yeah, in fact we can't do it anyway. What if we stayed straight? Could we? No. Right then, let's see what we want to do. I think what we're going to have to do is just redo this bit here and have it start to drop down, because I believe we had it level where we did the earthworks, and instead we'll have it drop down. Oh no, we were dropping down anyway. Well, let's just do that and see where it leaves us when it comes to crossing this freight line. Let's see. See, it's saying too much slope, and it must be the slope as it drops down to meet the freight line. But we've managed to do it there. Might have found a sweet spot, but what does it look like? Well, I think we're going to have to roll with it. And that will allow the second track to come through. Let's have a look. How does it look? It's not too bad, to be honest. And we need to start curving a little bit sooner than we are. So that's going to shimmy out to come back in, which is never nice. Let's see. How bad is it? Yeah, I prefer that to be straighter, I think. So let's just redo this again. I do sometimes think it is worth taking your time and getting it looking the way you want it first time around, rather than disrupting your lines later on and revisiting it. So let's go back as far as that. And what we'll do instead, we'll tackle this from this direction. Let's have you stay perfectly level in terms of your height gradient, like that. And what will you do if we bring you across? Well, let's let you do... No, we don't want a tunnel. Yeah, if we do that, we might have to push the existing track back the ways, because I think we're going to be too low to jump up to meet it. So what we'll do then is delete this. So a bit of trial and error during this build, but it's not a major problem. Let's go back as far as there, that corner. And if we just directly connect these two waiting bits of track, what does it look like? Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. We have a tunnel, which we had before anyway. And it means the exit from the station is a lot straighter here. We no longer have that shimmy out to come back in. We could have probably made that bit straighter. From there to there could be straighter to avoid this curve, but I think we've done enough trial and error and messed about and deleting and relaying that we'll just go with what we've got. It's working, and it will work. So let's get our signals. So let's put ourselves a one-way signal there, and that's obviously to control access to the platforms. And Let's now switch to these one-way signals for blocking purposes, there and there, and we'll keep these relatively spaced out, so there and there, somewhere between the two length of tunnels there, one more just before the tunnel. And what I learnt today, and I'm sure a lot of you already knew this, and I'll probably sound like some sort of amateur not knowing it already, but as you probably noticed, I tended to use these dwarf searchlight signals in the tunnels. In actual fact, they're used for shunting, I believe. I never knew that. They are shunting signals in and around stations, so I was using them incorrectly so far, but every day is a school day. So let's do that anyway. Let's put a signal there, and we might want to just put one more down here. And that one will act as a clearing signal for the junction behind. We have one there, and we have one there. They're not too close to the junction. I think that should work out okay. Alright then, so we want a train. So I think what we'll do is we'll come down here, and not going to do a full replica of a train yard, but we'll have a sort of a sidings back here. So let's get that, and if we can pop it on there, that would be great. Okay. Let's do that instead. Bit rough and ready, but it means we can put our depot on there. So let's do that. Then what we'll need to do is, can we cross over all the way? Yes, we can. Can we make these into double slip switches? Yes, we can. So that's every platform open to the depot. So we'll have a depot back here. And from this depot we'll purchase our train between West Jordan and Carrollton, but before we do that we want to get the line up and running. So West Jordan over to Carrollton. You're probably going to have to share a platform. You could, yeah, you're sharing there, aren't you? You could use this platform here. Platform number 5, that's a spare. And what colour do we want? We've got green, we've got blue, we've got teal, we've got pink. And we have this very pale browny colour. Let's go for a red. There we go. So you're obviously going the only way you can go. There's no confusion there. Platform assignment at West Jordan doesn't really matter. And we will call this RP. This is not going to be a main line. So this is West Jordan to Carrollton. Yeah, that'll do. Probably doesn't fit the existing naming convention, but it's fine. So buying vehicle then. Let's see. Probably want to use electrics. 125 mile an hour. So let's do that, and let's do one on the rear. Not that one, that one. Move that. These new passenger wagons we got, they were the superliners, weren't they? The phase 3s. So we could use them. They're similar, although a little bit slower. 130 mile an hour. I think we'll go with these new superliner Amtraks phase 3. So let's put on, say, 2 of those, a panorama, and then maybe another 2, and move the helper unit right to the back of the train. And it's an excellent rating, so we could put more coaches on if we wanted to. 125 mile per hour is a very nice speed indeed. And we'll go for 2 of those for 94 million. We will colour them red, although I'm not sure if much will change, so I think these are all mods. And assign them to the new passenger line. What's your problem? Could not connect all stations. And why not? A minute ago you were absolutely fine with the situation. Is it electrification perhaps? Well, we know all this is electrified because we were using a D&V track all the way through. So that should be all fine. This is all... I wonder if it's that platform at the station that isn't electrified. Yeah, it is. It's this bit of track here, and the platforms aren't electrified. So let's quickly sort that out using the upgrade tool. Electrification. We'll put them to high speed as well. Let's just electrify the whole lot, shall we? And then high speed as well. We don't need to do high speed on the freight platforms, not yet anyway. So let's do that. That's removed the warning, so I think the trains are now happy. Let's go take a look. And yeah, they are, because our first one is on our way out of this. Oh, you're not coming yet, are you? Waiting for a free... Oh, are you the second one? You are. Okay. Well, not to worry. You could have come this way onto your assigned platform if you wanted to, but you opted to go that way instead, which is up to you. Wouldn't be the way I would have done it, but never mind. Right, so let's get a quick bus loop set up, and it will be a quick bus loop for now. And yep, just have it come all the way around town in a big loop like so. So new line. The Kenworth W900 truck. Maybe an improvement on the Peterbilts. We will have to have a look. Let's do that. Let's colour you that pastel sort of blue colour there. And you are the West Jordan loop. Right, where is our depot? It's up here. By vehicles, passenger. What are we saying here? I think capacity is what we want. And I think 16 was our best with the MAN SL192s. Let's get 5 of those. Colour them the pastel blue. Give them high maintenance and assign them on the West Jordan loop. And that'll ensure we do have passenger generation and pick up and away to get people in and out of the station in West Jordan. The other thing we of course just unlocked were the new trucks, so let's just have a look and compare those. So the Peterbilt 359 does 50 miles per hour with a power output of 350 kilowatts and carries 25 units of cargo. The Kenworths do 65, higher power by 30 kilowatts and much greater carry capacity. And we have variants which I think should cover everything on our network. However, there's not one size fits all, so we'll have to go through and do these trucks one at a time depending on what they're actually carrying. But I think we'll leave that for another day. Oh, look at this, we have our first people at the station already. 2 passengers heading to Carrollton. Obviously there's nowhere else they can go yet. With time we will put more destinations on this line, perhaps up to Peoria and over to Marietta as well. Maybe even up to Athens. But that is it. I don't think we'll go anywhere else from West Jordan. Just the nearby town. So yes, Athens, Peoria and Marietta. But all that will be done in the future. We don't have time to do it today. What we will do is we will pause the calendar. Here is our new train. No, it's not. Here's our train. Oh, the one thing I want to do, which I haven't done yet, is go to our line manager, which is this one here, line statistics rather. Look at our most profitable line. So it's this iron line right now. So let's just get that back on. So one of these trains is already named the Isaiah, Ramos, I would like to name the second train as well, because in between recording the previous episodes and the current one, we do have a new Patreon, and as a usual show of thanks, they will have a locomotive, a train named after them. So Train 42 will now proudly bear the name of Campin Gage. Spell that correctly. And I hope I've pronounced that as you intend it to be pronounced, Campin Gage. So there you go. What we also want to do, of course, is make sure this train has very high maintenance, so it never has a speck of dirt on it. It's a special train, and it should always look its best. Much like the Isaiah Ramos, the Kylie Brooks, the William Smith. They all look resplendent in their shiny paint jobs. So thank you very much for your support, Campin. It is greatly appreciated. If you would like a different train, then please let me know. I just went for one of the big money earners, because obviously they are central to our success, and I think that's a fitting way to express my thanks. Well, now that this train is about to depart, we will hop on board and we'll take a ride over to West Jordan and maybe come back to Carrollton. I'm not sure, depends how long it takes. So I hope you've enjoyed the episode. As I said, it feels like the map is drawing somewhat to a close, although I don't mean that imminently. There's still a few more things I'd like to get done before we do move on to something else. And as I said, I do have something in mind for the next series of Transport Fever 2, which I hope you're all looking forward to. I'm not going to give anything away, so keep your eyes peeled for the next series, which should probably be starting in a couple of weeks' time, if not sooner. As always, a very special thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Your support and your generosity is absolutely amazing, and I thank you very much indeed for that. For now though, ladies and gentlemen, all that remains for me to say is, as always, take very good care of yourselves. It's ta-ta for now.